swell. Get it, don't forget it. On Kodak.
They glowed, they smoked, they burned, and we called it Christmas magic. We're counting down 20 Christmas morning toys from the 1960s and 70s you'll never see again. Some were banned, some broke the rules, and a few are now worth more than your first car. You'll see the oven that burned its own chefs, the toy that sold out before it existed, and a game once called Sex in a Box. So grab your eggnog and watch till the end, because we're about to unwrap the memories, the mayhem, and the Christmas toys you might forgot existed and that shaped a generation.
We wish you all a happy holiday.
Hot Wheels, 1968.
Hot Wheels.
Oh, man, Mattel started in 1935 in California. For years, they made all kinds of toys, but little cars weren't a big deal yet. Then one of the bosses, Elliot Handler, noticed his son only played with tiny Matchbox cars from England. Elliot thought, why can't we make our own? He hired car designer Harry Bradley from General Motors in 1966. Mattel teased kids by selling a car-carrying case, hinting something fast was coming. That winter, Harry drew the first Hot Wheels car, based on his own '64 Chevy El Camino, but cooler lowered body, hidden headlights, and side pipes. Workers carved wood models, made resin copies, and built them in America and Hong Kong. A rocket engineer even designed special wheels to make them super fast. Boom, Hot Wheels were born.
Ferraris, I have some Porsches that I'm sticking away.
The Beatnik Bandit had a bubble dome like something your uncle might build after 3 cups of coffee. And that hot pink version, worth 15 grand if you can find one still sealed.
Die-cut shape and package art, designed by Otto Cuny, was a colorful and cool design that fit perfectly with the style.
The custom Camaro? Every kid's holy grail, the one nobody actually owned, but everyone swore their cousin did. We'd line them up under the Christmas tree, pine needles on the carpet, orange tracks snaking into the living room like lava.
The 1970 and the 1969 display, easily $5,000 to $10,000 each.
Those early cars used ultra-low friction Delrin bushings, so they flew down those orange tracks faster than anything kids had ever seen.
It's to look for the TM symbol after the word Hot Wheels on the base.
G.I. Joe, 1964.
G.I. Joe, fighting man from heaven.
Man, the story of G.I. Joe is wild. It started when Hasbro panicked about selling a doll for boys, so they banned the word doll and invented the action figure. Joe even had a scar just to look tougher. By Christmas '64, the toy aisles were stripped bare tiny soldiers with parachutes, flamethrowers, and kung fu grip hands flying everywhere. Then came Talking Joes, Atomic Men, and one with eagle eyes that rolled around like he was judging you. When Star Wars figures shrank, Joe hit the gym and came back smaller, armed to the teeth and starring in his own cartoon. I still remember playing with my neighbor for hours under the Christmas tree, pine needles poking our knees, cocoa cooling on the table, pretending our Joes were saving the world before dinner. Do you know that Hasbro sold a G.I. Joe Mercury space capsule with a 45 RPM record of real NASA audio? And that the original hand-built 1964 prototype later sold at heritage auctions as a landmark toy artifact? Lego, 1960s.
Lego is here. Hey, kids!
Lego was pure imagination. Simple bricks, classic windows and doors, and no must build this pressure. You poured the pieces out and built a town, a rocket, or something nobody could name but everyone loved. Christmas morning, the click-click of bricks mixed with carols while we argued over the last window piece. We kept parts in cookie tins and learned quickly never to step on a 2x4 in bare feet. The joy was making it up as you went. Some kits even came in real wooden boxes with felt-lined trays. And those little cars? No rubber tires, just polished metal wheels that clicked like typewriter keys across the floor. Every scratch felt like a badge of adventure.
This is set from 1964.
Here's the twist back in 1963. Lego switched from cellulose acetate to ABS plastic, solving the warping and yellowing problem forever. That single change still makes every brick you snap today fit like destiny. Easy Bake Oven, 1963.
Easy bake, fast as you can. Mix them up.
This little pan and this little cake that got to be all yours at the end of it.
Oh boy, let me tell you, this one's half baking lesson, half sibling showdown. The Easy Bake Oven hit shelves in 1963, powered by two 100-watt light bulbs and a mountain of sugar dust.
The pizzas and for 12 minutes.
Kids were baking cakes under a lamp, and somehow it worked. My sister and I would pull ours out every Christmas Eve frosting mix everywhere, arguing over who got the bigger slice while that warm, sugary smell filled the kitchen.
Do you have an easy bake oven?
My sister did, but I certainly ate a lot of her cakes.
The glow from that little bulb felt like a fireplace for kids who couldn't sit still. But get this, decades later, when they swapped the bulbs for a heating element, kids started burning their fingers. One even lost part of theirs, triggering a 1 million unit recall. You really need to know this. It was originally marketed to both girls and boys, but over time it got boxed into for girls only. After a 2012 campaign from kids and parents, Hasbro finally released a gender-neutral Easy Bake Oven in black, silver, and blue. Star Wars action figures, 1978.
Sand People and all 20 action figures, including new Hammerhead, Snaggletooth.
Man, those old Kenner Star Wars figures were magic in plastic. Darth Vader's cape looked like a trash bag, but we worshipped it.
To destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Same figure loose will cost around $3,000 to $4,000.
Han's blaster was wrong, but he still oozed swagger. Man, have you seen the prices for vintage Kenner Star Wars toys lately? They've gone through the roof. It's gotten so wild that I actually had to stop and think about what collecting these figures has turned into over the years. These days, Han's debut card will set you back around $800 if you want a good one. Even a loose figure isn't exactly cheap, about $70 for the small head version and $40 for the big head variant. Kinda crazy, right? So be honest, which one's your favorite? R2's dome squeaked like an old radio.
2D2, Your Highness.
There's only one more person you haven't found. Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
And Boba Fett's rocket never launched, though every kid swore their cousins did.
It's a one-of-a-kind rocket-firing Boba Fett, and it is something I love more than anything.
What price do you want for this priceless item?
I am asking $150,000 firm.
Okay.
Yoda smelled like crayons and wisdom.
Hey, guys!
Or do not. There is no try.
Chewy like melted plastic in summer. Leia hid behind that Boosh helmet, cooler than any of us deserved.
A little short for a stormtrooper.
Huh? Luke's yellow lightsaber looked like a banana, but it still felt heroic in your hand. I still remember that Christmas morning, pine needles on the carpet, cocoa steam in the air, when my aunt handed me the exact figure I'd wished for. You ever see one of those Kenner Star Wars early bird certificates? It looked like a promise written in space ink, buy this empty box, and someday your kid gets Luke. Parents did it anyway. Now that cardboard coupon sells for the price of a used car. Twister, 1966. A board game that needed no board, just a mat and your dignity. Red, blue, yellow, green, and a spinner that loved to ruin friendships. Right-hand green sounds harmless until your cousin is breathing in your ear. Christmas evening, the living room turned into a human pretzel. We laughed so hard the tree shook. Someone always toppled the whole pile and blamed the dog. It was chaos you could fold up and put in a closet. Oof, here's where it gets weird. It wasn't banned, but it sure was scandalous at first, called Sex in a Box on television. Then it exploded after a famous late-night appearance. You'll still find Twister today, but the thin, plasticky mats and spinner style have changed. Atari 2600, 1977.
You want is the Atari 2600.
You're not going to believe this one. Atari didn't just invent home gaming. It smuggled the arcade into your living room and dressed it in wood paneling so your parents would think it was furniture. One joystick, one red button, infinite bragging rights. Space Invaders, Pitfall, Combat. Each one felt like a mission.
Named after the referee's pet goldfish, no quarterback, dime back, nickel.
Christmas morning, you'd flick the switch to Channel 3, and those blocky aliens marched like they meant it. Sweaty palms, couch coaching, one more life until bedtime. We traded cartridges at school like treasure maps, and the glitches, frozen sprites, rainbow screens were part of the charm. Eventually, the wood front consoles faded into attics as slicker systems took over, but that clicky switchboard hum still echoes in every gamer's heart.
Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong.
You think you've heard it all? But get this, one of Atari's early titles, Blackjack, was praised as a good game for adults, even though it was sold as a kid's toy. Pulsar, 1976.
It's Pulsar, the ultimate man of adventure.
Buddy, this was Mattel getting weird in the best way. Pulsar looked like a normal hero until you noticed the clear chest showing his organs pumping like a science fair project. Press the back, and that red blood whooshed through tubes up to his brain. Tilt the head, and you could watch the mission play out on a tiny flip panel in his skull. Mattel even gave him a villain, Hypnos, with a spinning chest disc that could mind control him if you stared too long. Christmas morning, we'd pass him around like a biology class. You could pose lights off, tree twinkling, everyone going, "You, do it again." Here's the twist. The fluid wasn't just dye. It was a specially thickened medium, so the circulation looked dramatic on camera and didn't bubble like Kool-Aid. Baron Karza, 1977.
Then we have Baron Karzar. I think it's Karzar.
Oh man, the name alone sounded dangerous. Mego brought Micronauts over from Japan's Microman line, and Baron Karza, all black armor, red chest ports, was the big bad. The genius was in the magnetic ball joints. Pop his limbs off, click them on a horse, and boom, he's a centaur nightmare. Fists, spring fire missiles. The whole toy was a kit bash playground before we even had the word modding. We staged throne room showdowns under the tree skirt, ornaments reflecting off that glossy armor while someone yelled, "He stole my arm!" You'll love this. Karza's modular system came from Takara's Magnimo engineering parts. Swapping was the point, not a byproduct. That's why collectors still build wild customs out of one figure and a handful of spare bits. Space, 1999, Eagle 1, spaceship.
We're in danger! Code red, lift off!
This is Space 1999, Eagle 1 spaceship.
You're not going to believe how serious this felt for a toy. The Eagle 1 transporter looked like real hardware, white truss frame, landing pods, detachable center module. Mattel and Dinky both did versions, so every kid had some flavor of moon-based shuttle on the carpet. We'd line up Lincoln Logs for launch gantries, count down by the TV glow, and make that soft shh sound as it lifted off a pillow. The lattice cracked if you were rough, which weirdly made us treat it like museum gear. Hidden gem, early die-cast runs, packed spring-loaded missiles and zinc heft that made parents flinch at the coffee table. The removable pod wasn't just play value, it mirrored the show's modular, mission swap design, which is why it still looks futuristic today. Electroman 1977.
This is Electroman, the action figure with...
Let me tell you, Ideal tried to turn your bedroom into a laser tag arena.
He's got a flashlight in his head.
Electroman had a built-in light blaster, siren, and target sensor. Pair him against the villain Zog, and you were suddenly playing cat and mouse in the dark. We'd kill the lamps, tree lights blinking, and take turns hitting that tiny window on his chest while the siren whooped like a toy store heist. The handle felt like mission gear, not a doll accessory. The fun twist, it used photo sensors tuned to a tight beam, so accuracy mattered. If your aim was sloppy, no hit. That little constraint made it feel no joke, skill-based, years before home laser tag kits flooded the market.
The reason for his immense weight is because Electroman needed no less than 3 C-size batteries to power his laser lights and sounds.
Six Finger 1965.
A 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, a 6.
Buddy, spy fever was real. Topper Toys sold a plastic extra finger you wore like a glove tip. 6 finger that fired cap darts, launched secret messages, stamped codes, and clicked like a tiny gadget factory.
10 fingers.
Yes. So
if
now...
you had an 11th finger, you'd be able to do like, what percent? Like 600% more.
It was marketed as a tool, not a weapon, so the spy kit made it to stockings that would have banned a pistol-shaped blaster. Crusher 1975.
Lump of shriveled up crinkles grow and unwrinkle into a...
Oh boy, this one was chaos. Ideal's the Crusher looked like a muscle-bound wrestler, but he was soft, air-filled rubber with a valve in his head. Squeeze out the air, pose him into a twisted pretzel, then pop the plug and he slowly sprang back to life. We'd stage last man standing matches on the living room rug, pine needles sticking to his legs while somebody counted down like a ref. He smelled like a new beach ball and bad decisions. Wild bit. The trick wasn't foam, it was an elastomer skin that held negative pressure. That's why he kept shape until you let air back in. Many broke because kids yanked the valve like a grenade pin. Survivors are collector gold. Little Big Man, 1975.
Worldwide. Follow him across treacherous northern...
Released in the United Kingdom in 1975, Little Big Man was Palitoy's smaller, cheaper answer to Action Man. The company wanted to give kids the same adventure hero feel without the big price tag. Inspired by Spain's top-selling Madelman line, Palitoy's wholesale branch, Bradgate, brought Little Big Man to store shelves, hoping lightning would strike twice. Each figure came with adventure outfits, Mountie uniforms, jungle explorer gear, even deep-sea diver suits, all clearly modeled after Action Man. But that lower price came at a cost. The plastic was brittle, the joints snapped easily, and the uniforms fell apart faster than a kid could stage a rescue mission. I still remember one Christmas when my cousin got one. He looked the part, but one bend of the knee and snap, mission over. Within 2 short years, the line vanished from toy aisles, leaving behind a tiny, forgotten hero, remembered only by the die-hard collectors. Etch-a-Sketch 1960.
Etch-a-Sketch, turn the dials and you'll see what I mean.
Oh boy, let me tell you 2 knobs, 1 dream, and 0 forgiveness. The Etch-a-Sketch made us feel like engineers, artists, and magicians all at once. Left knob for sideways, right knob for up and down, and every curve was a triumph.
Full-time Etch-a-Sketch artist. For a small Etch-a-Sketch drawing, my prices start at around $120.
Christmas morning, it came out of the box with that brand new rattle. By lunch, we'd drawn crooked houses and dogs that looked like cryptic hieroglyphs. Everyone tried the perfect circle, everyone failed, and everyone laughed. Then shake, a flurry of aluminum snow and a clean slate for the next masterpiece. That soft swish when you cleared it, pure serotonin. It was invented in France by electrician André Cassagnès, who used aluminum powder and static electricity to create lines inside the screen. The wild part? You erase it by flipping it upside down and shaking it to redistribute the powder. Literal reboot.
Right now he's creating Scott, and here, if you can catch this, that's me.
Stretch Armstrong 1976.
That is Stretchy!
Oh buddy, you're gonna love this one. Stretch Armstrong wasn't just a toy. He was a full-body experiment disguised as a superhero. He looked like a blonde lifeguard who'd been cursed by a mad scientist. Grab one arm, your cousin grabs the other, and suddenly it's physics class meets gladiator match. I still remember one winter afternoon wrapping paper scraps everywhere when we tied him between 2 doorknobs just to see how far he'd go.
Stretch Armstrong for Christmas, and the first thing I did was see how far you could stretch it before it broke.
Far enough to terrify Mom. His skin felt warm and weirdly human, like a balloon that had been doing push-ups. We tried knots, bad idea. Emergency tape, worse idea, and watched him ooze like an alien when tiny tears opened. You think you've heard it all, but get this. Inside that stretchy hero was corn syrup gel, the same stuff candy makers used. Sweet, sticky science masquerading as muscle.
Mankind.
Stop, evildoers!
$6 Million Man figure. 1975.
$6 Million Man, ready to operate and command.
Christmas morning, the wrapping paper avalanche settles, and there he is, Steve Austin in his red tracksuit, looking ready to leap from the box. You'd peer through that tiny bionic eye like a spyglass and twist his arm until it clicked like a secret machine powering up. Under the bed became HQ, the hallway a runway, and sometimes Barbie got drafted for mission control. His face looked calm, heroic, half astronaut, half mystery. That clicky arm, that telescope eye, that sense of power in plastic, it made you feel unstoppable. Released in 1975 by Kenner and based on the hit TV series, Steve Austin stood a towering 13 inches tall, way bigger than most figures of the era. The right arm's spring mechanism let him lift toy girders, and his bionic eye was a real magnifying lens. The figure even made a cameo in the comic book adaptation, where a villain used it as a voodoo doll. Now that's meta. Light Bright, 1967. Light bright, turn on the magic of color. Okay, this part's wild. Who knew a light bulb could feel like magic? Click, glow, and suddenly your bedroom was a neon studio. You'd jab those colored pegs into black paper, flip the switch, and boom, instant masterpiece or beautiful disaster. I still remember that Christmas night. Lights off, cocoa steaming, everyone gasping like we'd just invented color. The hum of the bulb, the smell of warm plastic, the hunt for that one missing red peg under the rug, it's all still glowing somewhere in memory. Stepping on a peg barefoot, that's how we learn new words fast. Sure, LED versions are safer now, but that toasty, bulb-lit glow of the late 1960s, that was lightning in a toy box. The designers got the idea after seeing a glowing store display in New York in 1966. They shrank it into a toy box powered by a 25-watt bulb behind a black panel with colored pegs, a child's art kit imitating a shop window. Chatty Cathy 1960.
Oh, Chatty Cathy, oh, Chatty Cathy, oh, Mattel's famous talking.
Now this one talked back. Pull the ring, and Chatty Cathy greeted the room like she owned a radio station.
Let's play house. Please change my dress.
Let's Play House, I Love You. Each pull was a surprise. Christmas morning, she introduced herself to everyone at once, her tinny little voice bouncing off the wallpaper. Sometimes she'd stall mid-sentence like a record skipping, and we'd lean in, waiting for her to finish the thought. Her plastic smile never cracked, even when her cord tangled or the phonograph skipped. It was weirdly comforting, like having a friend who never ran out of words. Chatty Cathy could say 11 random phrases thanks to a tiny phonograph record hidden in her belly. And get this, the same actress voiced both Chatty Cathy and the evil doll Talkie Tina in the Twilight Zone episode Living Doll. So the friendliest toy of the 1960s had a creepy television twin. Troll dolls, early 1960s.
The treasure troll top. Each baby-sized troll has a secret hidden jewel, and each jewel...
Thomas Dam wasn't trying to start a toy empire, he just wanted to make his daughter smile. In 1959, the Danish woodworker carved a small, funny-faced doll inspired by forest trolls, said to bring good luck. His daughter adored it, and soon the neighbors wanted their own. Working from a shed, Dam began molding the bodies in rubber, stuffing them with wood shavings, and topping each one with real sheepskin hair. Demand exploded across Europe and into America. The dolls were rebranded as Good Luck Charms, and trolls became a full-blown craze through the 1960s. But after an American court ruled the creator's copyright invalid, imitators flooded the market. While others made millions, Thomas Dam, the Danish woodcarver who started it all, earned very little. Still, his creation outlived the fad, returning again and again with those wild hair colors and smiling faces that never really went away.
My security blanket? The trolls make me really happy when I'm sad.
Creepy Crawlers, Thingmaker 1964. You ready for this? A toy that basically said, heat this metal plate and pour goo. Sold. The Thingmaker smelled like a mad scientist's kitchen. Hot metal molds, bottles of Plastigoop, and a sizzle that meant business. Christmas Day, we set up a lab by the window, cooking neon beetles till the room smelled like warm vinyl. Popping a perfect centipede felt like alchemy. Touching the mold felt educational. Parents hovered with oven mitts. We swore we were professional. Eventually, real heat rigs and solventy goop met modern safety lines. Later versions used safer compounds and gentler heat or light boxes. You can still make bugs, absolutely. But that original clink, hiss, peel ritual, equal parts danger and delight, crawled off shelves and into legend. Kids weren't exaggerating, it really was dangerous science. The original Thingmaker baked its Plastigoop in die-cast molds heated to nearly 390 degrees Fahrenheit before 1970 safety standards killed the line. Susie Homemaker Appliances 1966.
The world of Susie Homemaker.
Oh boy, let me tell you, mini ovens, mixers, irons, we ran a whole household from knee level. The boxes looked like real appliances shrunk by a ray gun. Christmas morning, we catered for dolls and unlucky siblings, plastic cupcakes, pretend coffee, the tiniest stovetop that warmed the air and our egos. Little cords, real dials, instruction sheets that sounded extremely official. We followed every line like sous chefs. Mom smiled, then hid the actual flour. Times changed though. Real heat and corded kitty gear met tougher safety rules, and the brand faded as ideas about who cooks shifted too. You'll find play sets today, but that exact mid-60s plug-in lineup, the one that made us feel licensed, got quietly unplugged and stored in history's pantry. Later, Susie Homemaker even turned into slang for overly domestic women, a cultural shift baked right in. Mego Superheroes 1972. Now, this was the multiverse before Marvel even knew it needed one. Mego Superheroes packed 8 inches of pure Saturday morning energy, cloth suits, snap-on boots, and heroic swagger. Christmas morning, we staged battles across the coffee table. Spider-Man versus Batman. No lawyers, no rules. Capes tangled in tinsel, gloves vanished under the sofa, and someone's Robin borrowed someone else's boots, just for today. Those boxes showed crossovers we never thought possible, and somehow, it all felt real. The Mego era didn't fade, it exploded, and the echoes still hum in every collector's shelf light. Mego did what no one else could, selling both Marvel and DC heroes in the same toy line. They even trademarked World's Greatest Superheroes to tie the brands together. That mix of licenses and cloth suit charm made it lightning in a bottle for the 1970s. Big Wheel 1969. Now this was freedom at 5 miles per hour. The Big Wheel made every kid feel like a stunt driver. You sat an inch off the ground, grabbed those handlebars, and tore up the driveway like you owned the block. Christmas afternoon rides left bright skid marks across the pavement, and the rear wheels wore flat till they went thup 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 like a helicopter chasing glory. We raced until the streetlights came on, our knees scraped and our pride sky high. You can still find versions today, but nothing beats the hollow rumble of that original heavy plastic wheel hitting the sidewalk just right. Introduced in 1969 by Louis Marx and Company, the big wheel's low center of gravity wasn't just cool, it was deliberate safety design to prevent tip-overs. Its plastic frame made it light, cheap, and nearly indestructible. Kids used it for skids, spins, and daredevil runs so often that Marx's ads leaned into the chaos. Built for action. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, 1964.
And there's a hard right to the job. And Blue Bomber's block is knocked off. His block is knocked off?
Now this was a living room title fight. Red Rocker, Blue Bomber, and a promise. Knock his block off. 2 joysticks, rapid jabs, and a ring that squeaked like it needed oil. Christmas afternoon turned into pay-per-view. We hunched over the ropes, trash-talking like tiny promoters. Land the sweet uppercut, watch the head pop, and the room explodes. We argued about cheap shots, swapped corners, went best of 5, best of 7, best of eternity. It never really left, but those Marx sets from the 1960s had a heavier ring, springier necks, and a glorious clack you felt in your wrists. Later runs changed, plastics and tolerances still fun, different punch. You'll find Rock'em today, no problem. What you won't bottle is that mid-60s clatter, old springs, heavy fists, and a victory shout that shook the tinsel. Fun twist. The creators originally planned human boxers, but after real-life boxer Davey Moore died in the ring in 1963, they reworked it into robots, so knocking a head off felt thrilling, not tragic. Fisher-Price chatter, telephone 1962. Oh man, this one was pure personality on wheels. The chatter telephone followed us like a loyal wooden puppy, eyes bouncing, bell dinging, and that goofy grin saying, "Important call coming through." Christmas morning, we dragged it around the tree in figure eights, pretending to take calls from Santa's office. The rotary dial clattered under sticky fingers, the receiver smelled like peppermint, and half the time, it tasted like it too. We'd whisper secrets into the handset like we were closing big business deals. You can still find it today, sure, but that wooden base, metal bell, and clacky wheels belong to an era when toys had real weight and sound. It was first released in 1961 as the talkback phone, but parents hated the idea of a toy that encouraged kids to talk back. Renamed Chatter Telephone in 1962, it became a hit overnight. The earliest versions had wooden wheels, a wood base, and a plastic handset in Weebles 1971.
Good fun all around. Right over there is Wobbles Weeble, he's the circus clown.
You ready for this? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, and we tested that like science demanded it. We flicked, stacked, and bowled them down the hall, waiting for one to quit. None ever did. Christmas afternoon, they lined the mantle under twinkling lights like a tiny choir of egg-shaped survivors. Their houses, cars, and playgrounds came later, forming the friendliest suburbs in toy history. We even built ramps out of wrapping paper to see if they'd escape. They didn't. They just smirked and stood back up. Those early Play School originals had heft a little thunk when they righted themselves. Physics never felt so satisfying. Weebles debuted in 1971 under Play School, part of Milton Bradley and Hasbro. Their egg-shaped design came from an old Japanese self-righting doll concept. Each had a weighted bottom, making them nearly impossible to knock over. One Reddit fan even called them super dense little missiles when thrown so much for gentle wobbling.